When purchasing external storage for your PC or Mac, it can be tricky to know which drives to buy. Do you need a HDD, an SSD, an SSHD? The terminology is so confusing sometimes. And with varying price points available, is it best to get the most expensive one, or simply are there different drives for different use cases? I'm James, you've tuned into Ebuyer, and in this video we're going to answer all of those questions and more. Taking a look at this range from WD with their My Passport external hard drive and My Passport SSD. Let's do this. Now, for many people, external storage on any device is a really crucial part of a PC workflow. Whether it's backing up important family photographs or taking them round to show friends or family, or simply having a drive set aside for any of your work documents and one for your personal documents, it can be important to get reliable, fast external storage. It's also worth considering external storage from a file management and security point of view. Not only can external storage be locked away, both physically and from a software point of view, which we'll come on to, but it also provides some redundancy and a backup of your data. That way, if you lose your laptop or your PC, or you have some sort of rare hardware failure, at least you've got a backup of your most important files, photos, and everything in between. External drives will often plug in via either a USB-A or a USB-C standard, which we'll come on to shortly, and provide a great way of adding more storage to your PC that also provides those benefits I've discussed in terms of security and data backup. Here at Ebuyer, we've got a wide range of drives available, and WD, standing for Western Digital, are one of the oldest and most well-reviewed players in the storage space, creating internal and external SSD and hard drive products. Let's begin by taking a look at their My Passport external hard drive first of all. It comes well packaged inside this protective plastic packaging, which will be sure to keep the drive safe, of course, on delivery. One thing that will really strike you about external hard drives nowadays is just how small and compact they've got. Running in a 2.5-inch form factor, the thing is super sleek. You can fit it in a pocket, throw it in a bag, and it's not going to cause any problems. They're also really lightweight, and you can get a wide range of capacities available. You can get some huge external hard drives and SSDs nowadays, allowing you to back up and store more files than ever before. The only interface you'll see is your simple USB Type-B connection. This is what we'll be using to plug the drive into a computer, and a cable is handily included inside of the box. This one here is USB-A on one side with your USB Type-B connection on the other. This handles all your data and all your power transfer. If we take a look at the My Passport SSD, the first thing you'll probably notice is that the SSD is smaller. It's actually slightly thinner and smaller as far as height and width goes. The reason for this is because SSDs use flash storage chips, small chips which are easily stacked and stored inside of a small design. The hard drive uses a spinning disk which has its own advantages we'll come on to, but that of course does mean you are constrained in needing something slightly larger. Inside of our box here, you'll then also find a handy USB-C to C cable, and WD also kindly include a USB Type-C to USB Type-A adapter, which you can plug in like so, and that will turn it into a normal USB connection. That means if you've got a brand spanking laptop like me over here with USB-C, you're good to go. But if you've got a slightly older device or want to plug this into like a projector, say, to project family photos, then you're going to be good to do that as well. The immediate pros and cons I would say here, the USB-C standard just feels like a more rugged and secure connection. It feels like it's going to stand the test of time a little bit better, and it's more adaptable for next-gen devices, all of which are adopting at a rate of knots USB-C. We'll look at some speed tests in a moment when I go ahead and plug these drives in, but you're probably thinking, James, you're talking really positively about an SSD. Should I just go ahead and bite the bullet with a super fast solid-state drive for my external storage? Maybe. SSDs are a quicker storage format than hard drives, and in some senses, they are actually a little bit more durable and resilient to knocks and crashes. That's not to say you shouldn't be careful with the drive storing your valuable data, but what it does mean is that if you pop this in a rucksack, you gotta worry just that little bit less. The reason for that is not because of some design flaw with this My Passport hard drive, but because it uses that spinning disk inside. Anything with physical moving components naturally has a few more points of failure than something like an SSD, which is flash chip secured onto a PCB and not likely to go anywhere. In a day and age as well of files getting bigger and bigger and bigger, faster storage is nice as it allows you to transfer things that little bit quicker. The major advantage to the hard drive though is capacities. You'll pay considerably less per gigabyte for a hard drive and will more likely find large 2 and 4 terabyte external drives available, whereas your SSD you'll be limited somewhat and may have to pay more for large capacity drives. Potentially that makes picking up one of each a great shout, but it all depends on the amount of data you've got to store. Over at Ebuyer, you can browse our wide range of varying capacity drives and make sure you get one that fits your needs. If I go ahead and plug the USB-C cable up, of course it's the same on both ends, making it nice and easy. I can also then add up the other end to my notebook. My notebook's only got 250 gigabytes of storage, making an external drive an awesome add-on, just for a bit more capacity and some more space to store files I'm working on for work or anything like that. To test out the speed of these drives and see what you can expect, I've downloaded Blackmagic's disk speed test. We'll link this down below, so if you want to try this on your own existing external hard drive or SSD, or of course your PC's local storage, you can do so. Now you can see here we're getting around 760 megabytes per second of write speeds on our initial testing, but this is a really quick drive. You'll be transferring a gigabyte or so of files every second, give or take, making large 10 or 100 gigabyte file transfers frankly a breeze. That is of course going to streamline, make you that bit more efficient, and allow you of course to get on with your work or whatever it might be that little bit quicker. That makes the SSD a better option for those of you plugging it in pretty much permanently and using it as extra storage, and perhaps the hard drive a better shout for mass storage that you'll be picking out of the cupboard once a week rather than every 10 minutes. Next up, we're going to try out the hard drive as far as speed goes. I'm going to plug this into a USB port on the rear of my notebook using a handy little dongle because this is a Type A and not a Type C connection. And if we hit start for our external hard drive, you'll see here we're jumping up to around about 100 megabytes a second, slightly higher, which is of course a piece slower than our SSD drive. Now in real world use you might go slightly higher. This is quite a strenuous speed test that we're running, and your write speeds are always going to be that little bit more difficult to achieve than your read speeds, which we'll jump onto in just a moment. This is still going to be plenty fast enough for day-to-day tasks and of course archiving old family photos, documents and key things you want to keep hold of. For a lower price per gigabyte, you can get more storage that's slightly slower, but if you spend a little bit more, you can get something a bit more durable, something with some slightly better speeds, and a drive that overall sits in a smaller form factor. You can of course also password protect your drives and files on them. That is great for keeping things that you want private, and stopping beady eyes from taking a look at them. It makes external storage devices like these a great win for those of you looking to up your security and your data redundancy and backup too. If you'd like to learn more about any of the drives talked about today, including the entire WD My Passport range, check out the links below. Thanks for tuning in, and as always, we'll see you again soon here at Ebuyer.